this timer is just fucking hilarious.
That timer was very confusing. It literally just popped up like 4 numbers. It said 3606. And I'm like, that's not a countdown.
That's a count all over the place. That's not a countdown.
Like it was switches numbers so fast. I was like, I'm not waiting 3,000 seconds to record. I'm really not. I'm not that pressed to do that. But welcome to the I Will Never podcast. Today's guest is a dear friend of mine and also a fellow Pylam. You all may know him as Kid Devil. This is Steph. Welcome to the show, bud.
What's up? We appreciate it. And actually, it's kind of a new name now. You're gonna be the first unveiling. This is we now going by HellBlazr now. So you got the little sneak peek. You got the unveiling, the opening. So this is
first one on the block. Got this new story.
Exactly. So this is just the new news, and this is gonna be the first interview under the new name. So I'm happy that I get to do it with a fellow brother of mine and someone who I really cherish. So yeah.
All right, I really appreciate that. I really admire the fact that you let me get the inside scoop. I really feel honored. I'm really pressed about that.
Nah, like honestly, dog. Like I can count on one hand the amount of people that know and that know right now because we're recording this before it's like officially like announced and shit. And so yeah, like I'm keeping this like super under wraps. So yeah, just know I definitely had to make sure my guy was good.
Okay, I appreciate that, and I can't wait to. Out of respect for you, I'll just release this once you actually unveil it and whatnot, so I don't ruin the parade. I don't steal all the thunder. I'm gonna wait until you actually unveil the name, and then I'm gonna follow that up with the end again to make it go in order. I'm not gonna do you dirty.
There we go. Yes, sir. But yeah, I'm excited to get into this conversation. I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm a huge fan of the podcast.
Well, I appreciate that. I love that. I love that I have fans now. Now I don't know how to act, because if I get fans, I really but that's like that. Like, do you have fans? I have actual fans. Instagram doesn't count.
At this point, I don't think you want fans. I think you just want disciples.
No, no. I don't need nobody worshiping me. That's a whole. No, we don't need that. Me by myself is already a problem. Imagine having me and then having like 10 disciples that are always following me, always worshiping me, always making sure I'm good. Actually, it doesn't sound too bad. Now that I'm saying that out loud, that does not sound that bad. Actually, I might have to invest in disciples. That do not sound like that. It really. I just named all the positives. I can't really think of no negatives. I'm really thinking.
The sentence "I'm going to invest in disciples" is crazy. That's crazy.
I just feel like it's a great investment. I feel like I don't see no wrong here. Honestly, I mean, obviously there might be some problematic issues there, but we're not going to adjust those. We're just going to look at the positives and just think of all the good that could come out of that, Having people that worship you, a loyal fan base, if you will. I could go for that. I could go for that.
You can go for that?
I would definitely go for that, actually. But enough about me, for once. It's not about me today. It's about you, HellBlazr. And I think we should start with, how did you get into rapping in the music industry as a whole? Because was it something that you always knew you wanted to do, or was it something you just picked up one day and just never put back down? Like, how did you come to with that?
I think the biggest thing is that I was incredibly angry as a fucking middle schooler. So I was incredibly angry, and so I just used to like punch walls and shit and punch people, and then I decided to stop doing that after I just I was going all over the place. But
pause. So you telling me you was like, hold the fuck now you're telling me that you was in middle school punching holes in the walls? We make fun of kids who do that. We do not do that. We make fun of the kids who do that. You were a whole. Not only were you punching holes in the wall, you were punching kids as well. Like you were just
I was just mad and I was depressed. I'm not even gonna hold you. I was mad and I was depressed, and then I was like, fuck it. I was really into Eminem at the time, so I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna start. I was no, like I was really into like Eminem and Childish Gambino.
No, no, no. Okay, you're checking all the wrong boxes right now. You're a hole puncher. You were really sad and depressed at the time, and you were blessed with Eminem. That is not a good combination.
Oh no no
That's
no! This
horrible.
sounds like this sounds like all the like right boxes on school shooter bingo. But I promise you, it was not that bad.
Not school shooter bingo. Like I don't like any of these trends that I'm noticing, and honestly, it makes me feel very uncomfortable.
But no, I can say that I'm reformed because of the music and because of how it just gave me a nice form of expression and shit. And so I started listening to guys like Eminem, Nas, Tech Nine, Gambino, and all those guys. I think still to this day kind of influence how I write and how I make music and just how I move as a whole. If that makes any sense.
I mean, it's good to know that obviously your musical taste evolved over time. Like some people hang on to the people that they listen to when they were younger, and then you have some people that like as they get older, they start getting into the more newer artists that are coming out. Or you
Yeah.
have the people who like to say the new rap isn't like the old rap, or vice versa. And you, like I said, the music industry has a lot of debates when it comes to music. And
Yeah.
for as someone who's in the music industry, do you ever see yourself debating these topics or like having these kind of debates with other musicians or rappers? I would say.
I have these debates all the time. I'm not just a rapper. I'm a hip hop nerd. I'm a hip hop stan. So I have this debate with myself even all the time because for the longest, like if you ask anyone that knew me in like high school, maybe like late middle school, they'll tell you like if your song didn't have like 1,000 punchlines or like or like 20,000 like multi-syllable cadences, like I was not fucking with it like that. But now like I'm starting to appreciate guys like Uzi and Roddy Rich and shit like that. I'm more easy into it, and I'm realizing that it's just an evolution as a whole, which is part of the reason why I changed the name in the first place because I started to feel that Kid Devil was such it was kind of a cementation of such an antiquated mindset in how I take in music, and I need something to represent the new form and the new wave of kind of how I not just look at my music and how I want to make music, but just how I look at music in general. Hence, you know, the new name HellBlazr. It still feels weird saying it.
So you mentioned that how now HellBlazr is kind of like the next evolution in your music career, and it's like you said, Kid Devil was like the beginning, and now you're going into a new chapter. And of course, you're gonna start with a new name. You're gonna start fresh in a fresh slate. What artists inspire you to do what you do? Like, who do you grow up with, and who do you like currently listen
Um, right now, the people who inspire me, Toby Nwigwe, always he is just a sophisticated lyricist. He's not a lyricist for the sake of being a lyricist, and he's not just a great rapper. He's a great artist. I feel like he always makes me get into my lyricist bag, but he always makes me do it with a sense of musicality, not necessarily with just a sense of like having the best punchline or anything like that. Mac Miller, I'm super influenced by now. R.I.P. I'm even super influenced by guys like fucking X right now, and I'm super influenced by MGK. So yeah,
to? That's these are choices. Those last two were choices. I'm not gonna hold you.
yeah. But
You had me at Mac Miller, and then
mhm.
you kind of almost lost me with X, and then MGK finished me off. Like
But no,
I,
no, no, no. On a
nothing
whole
against
other,
them personally, but
yeah,
I'm just saying like that's a really interesting, intriguing combo that you had going on.
yeah, and I think that once I start unveiling and unrolling all this new music, you'll see that a lot of it is interesting. Like I'm also taking a lot of notes and inspiration from my personal boy crush, Jaden Smith. So I'm super interested in that.
That's the man with taste.
I, I I love his music so much, and so I'm super. I'm super influenced by it. I'm taking like all of it in, and I'm taking hints and notes from everything right now.
That's always a good thing to do. It's nothing wrong with listening to other artists and taking notes and figuring out how you can implement certain aspects of their music into your own. And
Yeah,
it's like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. It goes with it goes with the evolution of your music. You can't stay one note your entire career. You're not gonna get anywhere just being a one hit wonder or just doing the same album over and over and over again. You have to
exactly,
you have to change elements and add something new. And sometimes you have to take risks. And
exactly.
as with all risks, there's the chance you'll fail, there's a chance you'll succeed, but you'll never know until you try.
Yeah, and so guys like Mac Miller and Anderson .Paak, two guys who really like influence how I look at shit now. They're really like the one thing I can say is that they're never stagnant, and so I'm really like trying to get myself in the same mindset where every time I hop into the booth, I'm trying to make sure that it's always fresh and never a stale sound or anything like that, or that like I'm always trying to improve on what's left behind. You get what I'm saying?
I definitely understand what you're talking about there, but I want to ask you before we started recording, we was talking about how you put a lot of money into your art, into your craft, and as somebody who isn't really into the music industry, podcasting's my down. I do productions with radio and stuff like this. I don't know nothing about being a music artist or going into the studio for studio time and making music and stuff like that. So well, I guess what I want to know is what are the things that you go through as a music artist, as a musician, to do your craft? Like, how does like booking the studio work? How does like recording sessions work? Like, I want the whole shebang.
Okay, so I'll start off by prefacing with this because I know that my journey coming up as an artist, I'm very lucky and I'm very gracious because I've been able to tap in with such a vibrant artist community that is Frostburg, and I'm able to make genuine connections with people where we've kind of foregone the typical thing where it's like actually I'll just be straight up and say I don't get charged for a lot. So I'm because of those genuine relationships that I'm building. So I know that my come up is not typical, but I do put the biggest part and the biggest hurdle I'll say is more so coordination with everything. Because sure, I'm networking with all these artists and we're all doing great things and we're all trying to like push each other and build each other and stuff like that. But because we're all trying to push each other and build each other, we're all also still focusing on our own separate things. So it's a lot of like scheduling and management and like a typical studio session for me, it'll basically be like, damn, I just had classes all morning. Damn, I still have two songs to finish before I want to get into the studio. Those songs will not be finished before I get into the studio. So I'll take like an hour to just like listen to a beat and cook up and chill. And shout out to my man's Rob. Shout out to my boy Paradox. We'll all just kind of like take a minute and vibe, and we'll all just kind of like talk about whatever's going on in our lives and what we've been thinking about. But we'll also just kind of think about like, damn, how do we keep moving forward as artists, and how do we keep doing this? Like most of the time, when we get an idea for a song, we're mostly just talking about the state of the industry right now, and we're mostly just moving forward and trying to figure out how to help each other grow. So we'll start getting like super ideas on this. We'll be like, damn, you should try out this flow because this last song you were kind of like in an iffy when you were like coming in and out of the pockets and shit. So that's basically how we end up. Generating these ideas and shit.
So I wanna backstep a little bit to the part where you said you write when you had two songs to finish before you want to get in the studio. So I'm gonna safely assume you write all your music by
Yes.
by yourself, or is it like a collaborative thing, or do you just write all your music by yourself?
The only thing that I am open to collaborating on is choruses, but that is only if the person who is singing the chorus or anything like that will is and the person who's vocally delivering the chorus is helping write. I don't like anyone. I don't like a lot of pens on the same notepad, if that makes any sense. I don't like a lot of people trying to come in and do stuff like that, especially because me, I'm a very OG like lyricist, like hip hop head type of guy. So I very much believe in the fact of I can't consider myself one of the best artists or best rappers out right now if my pen game is not built like that. Especially growing up with the whole Drake and Meek Mill beef, which literally all started because Quentin Miller started writing Drake's raps. Like,
Uh, I want to talk. I want to touch on the idea you that you just made. The point you just made that. Well, this is gonna be a bitch to edit. I'm gonna be so mad when I gotta edit this. But I get it when you just say that you don't like a lot of pens on a notepad. I'm kind of the same thing with my podcast. I don't really go in whenever I record an episode. I don't never go into it with a plan. Yeah, I do a little bit of research so I can at least say I know a little bit of something about my guests. So it don't seem like I'm unprepared. But for the most part, I go into everything, every episode with a blank slate, and we just have the conversation naturally. I feel like
yeah,
I feel like a lot of people, a lot of podcasters or musicians rather have somebody has assistants running their shows or their music, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're not knocking anybody that has
nah, never that, never that.
assistance with doing this stuff. Whatever works for you works for you. But like you said, I'm like you. I want to everything I want to do. I want to do it my way, and I live by the saying that if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. And
Exactly.
no one's gonna be able to make my podcast the way I want it to be made or produce the music that you want it be the way you want it to be produced. So I definitely understand that aspect.
And here's the thing: as much as I don't like other people like, as much as I don't like other people like helping me write, I like watching other people write because it helps me like notice like the different techniques that we use and shit like that. I always find it very interesting because I have a very unorthodox writing style because I would just kind of threw myself into the shit, not getting much, not giving myself much leeway or time to like absorb anything or learn up on anything. I just kind of like got right into the music shit. So I still have a lot of those same old tropes and shit from when I was just starting to do this at 12 in my writing style. And so I think guys who are much more cultivated and kind of for lack of a better word, let's just say they have a much more finesse when it comes to their writing. Like I like watching those guys because it's able to help me write better while still being true to myself.
So like I know you just mentioned about how you like to watch other people write because it helps you improve your writing and stuff like that. How do
Mm-hmm.
you come up with the different flows and like the lyrics and the cadences and everything that goes into your music? Like I know I can only imagine as someone who struggles to be creative sometimes. I can only imagine the thought processes that go into you sitting down one day and just listening to a beat and just writing lyrics that go with it. Like what's your whole process for writing your lyrics?
Okay, my whole process for writing my lyrics, and the first thing that always pops into my head is to not make things too wordy. That's my big like challenge, and honestly, the biggest improvement in my career as an artist is that the fact that I've gone from making my lines super wordy and super intricate, trying to, like I said earlier, be those like super duper lyricists with like 20,000 different cadences and shit. And I'm trying to make it so that way the punchlines like still hit and the bars still go just as hard, but it's in a way where I can actually still fit the cadence and pocket and where I can actually like hold on to the beat. So the process I would say basically to get back to your question is that the first thing I'm focusing on is not to make it too wordy and honestly I'm just while the beat's playing, I'm literally just humming out whatever cadence I want to try and do. See if I can get it on beat. Da 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 da. Da. And you can ask anyone who's been in the studio with me. I'm I the writing my verse is not the longest. Writing my verse is not what takes the longest. It's making sure that it fits on the beat. That's the longest part. That's what'll make me go to the engineer and be like, "Hey, I need you to run the beat back like 3 more times just so I can make sure."
So like I can only imagine just going into the studio and rapping out all these lyrics that you just wrote, and then they play the track back, and you're like, oh no, DJ, no, keep spinning that shit. It doesn't sound right. It's not on beat. It's not. No, we gotta shoot it all over again. Like how long is a typical studio session for you? How long?
Hold up, Anthony. I hate for you to having to edit this recording, but can you pause recording for like 2 seconds?
Yeah, I can pause it. All I'm saying is, if they're gonna do the countdown, the least they can do is just do it the regular 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. The 3 extra numbers are so unneeded, and I don't understand why it takes up my entire screen when they do it. But anyway, back to the conversation at hand. I believe we were talking about how long a typical studio session is for you.
I knock out multiple songs in one studio session, so it's not like I'm going in for only one session. So I typically make 3 to 4 songs. I typically make 3 to 4 songs a session. So give it maybe about 3 or 4 hours, probably.
3 or 4 hours? Oh my god!
Yeah.
That's on top of going to your classes in the morning as well. Correct.
So at a rate of a song an hour, I'm typically doing 3 to 4 hours in there because we're just knocking them out, yo. And so I'm always leaving studio sessions with a bunch of files to go over to make sure, damn, is this good enough? I'm listening to multiple mixes, yo, by the end of the night.
And I know. Sometimes you'll post on Instagram you'll do a live or something where you're with a friend and you're in the studio working on editing the music and stuff like that, working on your music. Do you have any part in the editing process? Do you are you one of those people who are hands on with the editing, or do you just have friends that will do that for you and you just go in there to make sure you approve?
At first, I used to be hands off, but now I'm super hands on now, and I'm super totally in the middle of watching how people are mixing my vocals and how people are editing and doing all this I'm doing all the mastering and shit. I'm watching everything now. I'm like a hawk watching over somebody for I'm over everybody's shoulder whenever I'm doing that shit because the biggest complaint I have for my last project is that the mixing was kind of it was there, but it was kind of vacant at some parts, and so now I'm trying to make sure that everything's consistently mastered, consistently mixed. My vocals are always right, so people can see, so if people aren't losing out on the bars because just my vocals weren't mixed right or some shit like that.
See, that goes right back to what we talked about earlier. How if we want something done right, we have to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And I get it. I'm gonna go on a limb here and just say I do not take rejection well, and I don't take criticism. And my thing about both of those things are, it's one thing if you tell me no, or you're I don't like your podcast or something like that. Okay, cool, whatever. You're entitled to your opinion. But if you be no, if I ask you something, you say no, and then you go into a tangent about how I'm a dirty ass bitch or something, that's so uncalled for. Or if you're I don't like your podcast because you're a pathetic ass host and your guests are trash. And see, all that's not unwarranted. Criticism, I feel criticism is only effective if you're going to highlight both the positive and the negatives of what's wrong with it. I don't feel people love to talk, basically just shit on whatever you're doing and then cover it up and say, oh, this is just my opinion, it's criticism. No. Constructive criticism is you're telling me, oh, I didn't like this part about your project, but instead of focusing on that, let's focus on this part that I did like about it, I know, how do you deal with criticism? Because I know you just said the biggest complaint on your last project was the mixing. So
I deal with criticism basically by just dealing with and taking by taking it all in stride and always trying to separate through the bullshit basically and just taking what's actually productive and what can actually help me grow as an artist out of it. Sure, people are going to throw subs and people are going to throw digs at me, but there might be some actual gems in there and shit that I can actually learn from because I'm a very humble dude in general. I think you can figure that out from our personal experiences. But so it's just one of those things where like I'm never claiming myself as the biggest shit. I'm never claiming myself as like the big man. So I'm I'm never coming from a place like, man, I know everything. I know I did everything perfectly. Da 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 da. Because I know that there's still places as an artist where I can grow.
I completely disagree. I could carry myself with the energy that I'm that bitch, and a lot of times it comes off as cockiness, and I can definitely see how it can. But one thing I learned in my 22 young years of living is that if you carry yourself with confidence, a lot of people will respect you a lot more. You'll be a lot more approachable. You'll create more opportunities for yourself. If you're somebody that doesn't have confidence in what they do, or they don't have confidence in your craft, you're not gonna get anywhere. And you're gonna miss out on a lot because you're being too timid and you want to be to yourself. And I get it. I used to be shy, but growing up, I had to get out of that because I was missing out on so many things, so many events, so many friendships I missed out on because I didn't want to talk to nobody, or I just wanted to stay to myself.
Yeah, and I'm even figuring out that I'm kind of that same way now. Like this is gonna be kind of a little embarrassing, but I'm an RA in Edgewood, and so I was answering like a fucking like resident call and shit like that, and then I was walking around the hallway, and like a gang of people were coming down the hallway, and a gang of people were coming down the hallway, and I was in my fucking Mons Morales hoodie that I just typically wear right before I'm going to bed and shit, and I just heard a bunch of people laughing at me because I was wearing a hoodie, and I was like, damn. And I was like feeling super like anxious and shit about it. But I realized the one place where I'm never really anxious is my music for some reason, which people would think is where I'm the most anxious.
I mean, I feel like it's important to have an outlet to kind of convey your emotions, if that makes sense. Because I know
Yeah.
not everybody is the best at expressing their emotions. I know I'm definitely not the best at expressing my emotions. I
Yeah,
joke
neither am
around,
I.
I joke around a lot and say emotions are for the weak, but I don't believe that. I don't want the listeners to think if you show your emotions you're weak. It's it's just a little joke I like to make because again, I don't like showing my emotions because it's like I only show them around the people I love and care about. You know, I don't want to. I don't want people to think I'm this. Oh, he's too emotional, so he can't do this job, or he can't handle this all this stress and blah blah because of his emotions. I don't want people to think that. So I kind of
Yeah.
keep the emotions together and put on a straight face, and I do what I have to do. But of course, I do take the time to come to terms. It's okay to cry. It's okay. The listeners and the viewers, it is okay to cry. It
It
is
is.
perfectly fine. You have to. You cannot keep your emotions bottled up for forever. It's nothing wrong with being in touch with your emotions. Don't let nobody tell you anything different. It's okay to express yourself any way you want to express yourself. If we all didn't express ourselves, we would all be the same. We all can't be the same person. How we express ourselves is our own individuality, and that's why we were all put on this earth. I call myself the Brisk King. That's me. That's my brand. That's me. That's how we identify who the fuck I am. And
There you go.
you're HellBlazr. That's how you identify. That's your brand. That's you. That's all you. That's your entire whole. That's your shit, basically. You know.
That is definitely my shit. And right now I am currently loving my shit. I'm finally coming into a place where like I've always loved my music and I've always known like the talent of my music, but now it's getting to a point where it's on a different type of level of love, where it's getting to a point where like the only thing I'm listening to is literally my music. Like I have not touched my regular Spotify in like bricks. I've just been in my drive folder listening to like multiple mixes of my own songs. Like damn, I really was killing them on this shit. Damn, I really was hitting.
So that's crazy because at the beginning you called me a very conceited bitch, but you're all here only listening to your music and your music only. But that's not conceited. I don't like the slander, and I don't appreciate the slander of my character and of my good.
I I never said that I don't have conceited tendencies. I just said that you were a very conceited bitch. Two different things.
I feel like my character was slandered, and honestly, I will not tolerate that on my podcast.
That slander is subjective, good sir.
All I'm saying doesn't make sense. I can slander everybody, but I can't be slandered. Those are the rules. I don't make the rules. That's just how life works. Sorry, not sorry. I can slander whoever I want, but I'm off limits.
Oh my god.
I'm so sick.
And this is why I love talking with you.
I don't understand why anyone likes me. I'm such an obnoxious bitch. I would not be my friend. I really would not. I really feel like if I did not know me, I would hate me. Honestly. I do like the shirt though. Let's get into the Roddy Piper shirt. My favorite legend. In case anybody else wants to give me some memorabilia, I like Roddy Piper. My favorite wrestler is Chris Benoit. Y'all probably might not like that, but that's my wrestler all time. I know he slaughtered his family. We don't need to get into that. I'll do an episode on that very soon, actually. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to focus on his wrestling career and how good of a wrestler he was. And be on the lookout for that. That's coming up soon. I'm also going to be filming a roundtable on. Hey, do you know who Eugene is, the wrestler?
Yeah, I've heard of him a couple. I'm not gonna say I'm super familiar, but I've heard of him a couple of times.
But do you know his character and what kind of character he was?
Nah.
So Eugene was a character portrayed in WWE as a special needs character. I believe he suffered from his gimmick was he had suffered from mental retardation. If I'm using the proper term, if I'm not, please don't hesitate to correct me. I don't know if I used the right term to describe it, but he played that character, and it was, even though it's very problematic. Even I was watching a lot of his old stuff, and I was like, a lot of this wouldn't fly today. But he was a really over character. Even despite all that, everyone loved Eugene. And I'm about to. I'm back. Ooh, this I fast with Wi-Fi. Look at you buffering. I have plans to do a roundtable on would a special needs wrestler work in today's wrestling industry. And
Gotcha.
so be on the lookout for that video.
That actually sounds super interesting.
Do you have any upcoming projects that you want the viewers and listeners to know about, or anything to put on their radar?
Yes. Okay, so basically, when this drops, my single "Pain" will be out along with the video. So please go check that out. I would give you my socials, but I haven't yet changed them yet due to the new name, due to the fact that I'm keeping shit under wraps. So basically, wherever this is tagged, I will text you afterwards. So check the description of this episode, and my socials will be there to check out the video and the new song. But yeah, Pain will be coming that will be my first single under the name HellBlazr, and my new EP, the HellBlazr EP, will be coming very soon after that, so just be ready. I'm super excited to give everybody this new side and energy of me, because I feel really fucking invigorated. I have no other way to describe it other than that.
It makes me so happy to see you really invested and happy in your craft, and I'm really intrigued to see where we go from Kid Devil and see what HellBlazr has to bring to the fans. Because I know this is a very big step for you, and I know I might be nervous, but I know you got this. I know you do. As your brother, as a friend, you had nothing but my utmost support. I'm here to support you any way you need, bud.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
But I'm afraid to say that we have to wrap the interview up. Unfortunately, it was. I know, that's what I said. I was like, this was not as long as my other one, but it's okay. I'll definitely have you on again. It was a blast talking to you.
Yes. Oh my god. It was a blast talking to you too, man. And thank you again for having me on. Like I said, I'm a huge fan, so super excited to hopefully do this again. And thank you to everyone listening.
Of course. Thank you guys for listening. Also, I can't wait for you to be a fully initiated brother. I cannot wait to believe it. I'm so excited. Also,
Look, you
congratulations.
know what the fuck's going on? Alpha Omicron class, bitch. Whoop whoop.
I mean, they're okay. I mean, they're not Alpha Iota, but they're okay. Like they didn't do nothing yet. It's still they have potential. I give y'all that. You have potential. We haven't yet to see what y'all can do yet. But again, welcome to the Brotherhood. I'm proud to call you a brother of mine and also a friend. And I can't wait to see what kind of music you drop next, brother. I'm so excited.
Thank you. You have no idea how much that means to me, man, and I appreciate it.
Of course. And you said you're gonna give me your socials once once you change them. You didn't change them yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you my socials and everything once I change it. People will be able to find me and shit and go peep Pain and the incredible Pain music video, which I'm currently in the middle of editing right now.
All I'm saying is, if you need a bitch to be in the video, so she does modeling on the side. I'm just saying, she's a part-time model. So,
Part-time model, I got you. I got you.
like, if you need especially if you need a villain, I would love to be that. If you need a villain for anything, I love the villain edit. That's the role for me.
I got you. I got you. Definitely gonna have to put you on the list, dog.
Definitely have to. I would love to be in the video. You know me. I love. Yes.
You just love being in front of a camera.
Yeah, of course. Like if it's about me, anytime I can make it about me, it will be about me, and that's what I want. Even though I'm only on the camera for like 10 seconds at most, I'm gonna make the most of those 10 seconds. These bitches are gonna remember that I was in that video. But again, thank you so much for giving me the time out today to be on this podcast. It was
No problem, dog. You know I got you.
And I can't wait to see what the future holds for you, bud.
Thank you, thank you.
We're clear.